raise a thumbs up. So, very good evening to all of you. I hope you're doing well. If you're doing well, please raise a thumbs up. Okay, guys. So, this is Shrashti Maheshri from Team Pregrad. First of all, I wanted to introduce Pregrad. Pregrad is an edtech platform with a mission to bridge the gap between the student and industrial mentors. We kickstarting your career before graduation. Pregrad was founded by Ankur Saxena and Madhav Chaturvedi in 2021. Pregrad offer intensive upskilling programs powered by leading industry giants like Wipro, IBM, Cisco, Tele, and many other companies. So let's begin the session. Are you excited to learn something about SQL? On a scale of 0 to 10, how much are you excited? Please write in the chat box. Okay. So a very warm welcome to Makrand Rathod, who is the Associate Data Analyst at Accops. Makrand is our guest speaker of this masterclass. A very warm welcome to Makrand Rathod. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to Makrand.
Thank you, Satri.
Hi Makrand, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too.
How is everyone doing?
Audience, all the attendees, your mics and cameras are off. Please write your query in the chat box, and if you're facing a issue, please raise a thumbs up. I turn on your mic, turn on your cameras and mic. So hi Makrand, could you please share your journey and
Sure.
about yourself with students?
Yes. So actually, I'm from a non-tech background. Actually, I'm not from a computer engineering. So I will just start from. I have completed my graduation in mechanical engineering in 2019. So after that, I was preparing for competitive exams for few years like UPSC, SSC, and other exams. So I tried my luck there, but things didn't turn out the way it should be. I didn't get the expected results. Then after some time, I decided to like switch into corporate and get into IT industry. So I did some few courses online. So I will not mention the names or anything like that, but I searched for what should I be doing. I looked for various courses. I referred to YouTube as well. Then I decided to learn some tools like SQL, Power BI, Excel, Advanced Excel, and Tableau, which are the need of the hour for the data analyst in any journey. So after like completing my course, it took around 3.5 months. Then I started applying for jobs, and luckily I could get into Accops, and today here I am.
Thank you Makrand.
So
Thank you for
yes,
sharing your journey. Let's start
yes,
with the session. All of you, are you excited? Shall we start the session? Yes, we can start the session. Makrand, session is all yours.
yes, sure. So basically today we are going to like do a project based on SQL. It is a project actually during my learning phase. I will say there were many projects which I referred to online, and I used to refer that projects and try to redo it like without maybe looking at the solutions or just trying to redo the projects in my own way again. So this is one of those projects which I found online. It was one of the case studies. The title was Pizza Runners or Pizza Store Sales Analysis. So I will just share the screen. I will run you all like I will run you all guys through the entire what is the need of the or what the project requires. Just I will just share the screen. Give me a minute. Is my screen visible?
No, it's not visible. Now it's visible.
Yeah, sure.
All of you,
So
you can zoom in and zoom out your screen
hmm.
if the screen is not visible.
So this is the basically the project. It is actually you can find it online as well. It is one of the challenges. There are various platforms that provide SQL challenges where you can go and practice SQL. There are various platforms. So this is one I found. I have like referred to this. I have learned a lot from this. So this is actually a very big project. I will say it covers all the queries from basic to advanced level. But in this session, we are taking into consideration just to solve the queries of basic level, considering that everyone is a college-going student or looking to just get into the industry. So I will not tell you to everyone there are many RDBMS. Everyone chooses of their own. There are many MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle. So everybody or every industry demands or every organization works according to their requirements. So I usually prefer PostgreSQL. So we'll be solving this project on the PostgreSQL. I will be first explaining you guys what is the project, what does it cover, and I will then parallelly write the SQL queries to fetch the output and show you guys how it is. So you could have worked with me, but that will everybody must have been having a different RDBMS, so that will be a tough job to do parallelly. I will just share the link of the project and all the database. So what we will do is currently I will do the project, and you can try to redo it and without maybe referring to anything. If you have any doubt, you can contact me at any time. We'll start currently. So this is the pizza sales project. I will explain you basically what it needs. I think everybody must be aware of DB diagram, DB modeling or database modeling. I'm taking into consideration that. So this project basically so first of all I will if I talk a bit fast, Rashmi, if correct me. Sometimes if I go a bit fast, I will slow down.
Yeah, sure.
So, okay, I will first of all just explain you what this project is all about, what this thing covers. It is actually, as I mentioned, a big
Makrand, could
project.
you please give a brief introduction about DBA? What is database?
Yes. So a database is basically anything you can say where you can store data. It can be on any. You can say a DBMS is a full form of database management server, and RDBMS is basically a relational database management server. So the difference between this is it is kind of similar. You store data in both of them, but the difference between them is in DBMS you just store it in the form of files. You can say normal files or anything. In a relational database, that is RDBMS, you store it in the form of tables. And the reason behind that is I will share you is it becomes easy. You must be aware of maybe what is primary key or unique key. Consider an example. Everyone has a Aadhaar card. So my name is Makrand Rathod. There can be multiple Makrand Rathods. There can be maybe multiple Srishti Maheshwaris and number of people in this country. So what we have done by using Aadhaar card or anything is we have given a unique identification number to a person. So if we use that ID or like that, we know that this is the person and this data is of that person. So basically, RDBMS works in the same way as well. Every table we assign a primary key, and we make connections. So I'm taking into consideration you must be aware of the modeling as well. Like there are various connections like one to one, one to many. I will just try to explain in short what does it mean. So in one to one connection, in one table like this, you can say in this entire project there are total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tables I've taken into consideration. And the reason behind this is you can see now the first table I will explain every table. So the first table is the runner orders. Runner orders means basically it is a table of the delivery boys, you can say. Runner refers here to the delivery boys. Customer order tables basically will fetch that entire database of the customer. What to say is exactly it will every time it will be a bit difficult to everyone to maybe take an example, you go to shopper stop, so they take your name and everything, but it is a bit difficult for them to write the name and fetch the details. So sometimes, mostly you must have seen in medicals as well, you go to wellness or anything, they take your mobile numbers. So the next time you go there, they just ask you for the mobile number and they will know the entire history of yours or what is connected to yours. So basically you can think of real life examples and try to connect it here on the background what is happening. So this is the same way I can say in the customers table, we assign a customer ID, a unique customer ID to every customer, a unique order ID to every order. Similarly, when we there's other table called pizza names. So a pizza store must be having various pizzas, right? So we try to assign every pizza a very unique pizza ID. Maybe 1, 2, 3. One pizza will be you can take a barbecue pizza. Second pizza will be maybe veg pizza or anything. So what this does is once you have assigned it, so you don't have to go back and write every detail every time. It will just be the relations that will be able to identify. Even if you enter the one thing, like the pizza ID one, it will automatically fetch the details of whatever the data is assigned to that. So I will just explain all the tables. As I mentioned, customer orders tables mention the details about the customer ID, that will be the unique ID of every customer. Order ID, that will basically the you can say every order that is placed will be having a unique order. Similarly, there are exclusion, extras, order date. I will, whenever I go down in that table, I will explain you what does that mean exactly. And there's then another pizza recipe, pizza toppings, and similarly for runners. Runners means basically, as I mentioned, it is the delivery boy. So table one is basically, as I mentioned, see, every runner ID means delivery boy. Every one will have their unique ID, and what will be their registration date, on which date they have registered. So this is just a mention in the project. We're not going to be using that, but I'm just giving you a info about it. So this is the major table that we'll be working on, and we will be dealing on this project. So I will be trying to explain what, like how anything a database works in the background, and how you should first build an understanding and then start query writing. Query writing basically, I think uh, you can get through. Like anyone maybe will learn. Everyone of you will eventually learn it in a progressive way and can do it. But to try to understand what is the requirement of like your organization, and how you are going to fetch it, that will be the most important part, and how the data is stored. So I will first try to explain you how these things work. So this is the customer orders table. This contains the data about the customers, their orders they have placed, exclusions, extras, order time. Exclusion, extras, I will come to that point on a later note. First, we'll try to understand the customer ID. So if you see, you will see the numbers. Try to like understand these numbers. Order ID 1, 2. Then there is again 3, 3. Then there's again 4, 4, 4. Then there's again maybe 5, 6, 7. So sometimes there's repetition. It's not going serially. Similarly in this as well, customer ID 101, 101. Then again 102, 102. Then again maybe 103 is three times. 104 is single time. 1011 is single time. So I would like to ask the audience, any idea like why could it be in that way? If anybody can give any input, please raise your hand.
Audience, turn on your mic. You can, yes, Mahalakshmi, you can speak. Same customer.
Right, right, on the right line. Yes. What about the same order IDs maybe?
Your mics are on, audience. You can, sometimes customer writes wrong ID.
No, no, that will not be the case. Okay.
Different pizzas order with same order ID.
Okay. Anyone else?
Some customer
Right,
writes
same
wrong.
customer at the same time. Right, right. One of the things, yes.
Same item.
Okay. Right. So some of the things that you guys mentioned were absolutely right. So in this case, like we will look at customer ID like 101, 101. So you can think of a customer ordered maybe two things. Like you can see there is one order ID and order ID two. So it could have been happened that if this customer is ordering, then why didn't it appear at a single ID? But I mean, maybe he could have ordered like, first I will take you to the pizza ID thing. There are two types of pizza. Just a minute, I missed that part. So for this example, we have not taken a lot of examples of pizza. Just we are considering two pizzas. The first is the meat lovers. The second is the vegetarian. The idea of pizza meat lovers is one. The second is two. So if you will see, every time it will be 1 2 1 2 1 2. So what this does this means is customer 101 ordered pizza one, that is maybe meat lovers. Similarly, customer 101 ordered meat lovers. So what my question again will be, why the same like pizza was ordered by a customer and a different ID was given to it? So basically the reason behind it is, if you can see the timing of the order, this was ordered on 18/5, that will be 6/5. This is ordered on 7 o'clock. So when you order on Zomato, you can say maybe you ordered any veg pizza at 6 o'clock. So it will be given a unique ID. But after some time or 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, you get that order, and after some time you decide you want the same pizza. Maybe you like that pizza, so you decide to order the same pizza after some time. So that's the reason why a same customer has got the same ID, and but got the different order IDs. That's the reason, because he has ordered it at the different time. So what I'm trying to explain is this can there can be different cases in the how the data is being stored in the background database. So this looks a bit like numbers, but if you get the logic behind it, it will be very easy for you to write the queries. So that is what I'm trying to explain you guys. Just try to understand how the data is being stored in the background. Second example we'll go, you can see customer ID 102 102. Now in this example you will see there is no different order ID, there is same order ID, right? So why do you think these are taken like two different cases? There also, in this case you can also see there's a timing was also same as well, 2351 2351. So it is not as the earlier case, right? Kushi mentioned it, right? Different pizzas. You can see he ordered one pizza one and one pizza two. So that's the reason in the same order he has ordered two different pizzas. That's the reason it has been given to two different rows. You can see again in the third you can see 103 103. In this case as well, the same customer had ordered first pizza, and the second pizza. So these are one or two cases that can be possible. That what I intend to say is, a customer can order two different pizzas at the same time. A customer can also order same pizza at different time. So this might be a case, and this changes the way data is stored in the background. So that is this. What is this table is about? So let's move on to second table, that is the runner orders table. Basically, this table contains the data of every delivery boy, you can say. So this actually moves parallel to this only, but it will be focusing majorly on the aspect of, I will say, the primary consideration will be the delivery boy. Like logically, if you see, every order is has to be delivered by a sure, I will share the project on a group, or sure, I will do it. So what I was explaining about this table is, so every order or every project like pizza has been assigned to a delivery boy. So in this table, that data is mentioned. Consider a order ID 1, that this order of pizza has come. This has been assigned to a pizza delivery boy or a runner whose ID is 1. Similarly, maybe order ID 2 has been again assigned to the same. Then you can see order ID 4. This was assigned to a delivery boy number 2. And the other details of the relating to, you can see, the delivery boy time, like the pickup time, distance, duration, and if there is a case of any cancellation, if cancellation from maybe restaurant side or cancellation from customer side. So these are both the cases. So in this case, I will just want you to focus on, in two cases we have just mentioned null and null. So what this represents is basically the order was cancelled. So just keep this in mind. We are going to use this thing in one of our queries. Okay, let's move on to next table. The other table is basically a small one which I explained earlier. That is just the name of the pizzas, meat lovers, vegetarian, and their corresponding IDs. Similarly, every pizza, what they have considered is, there are two pizzas. There are two pizzas basically, and everybody like in every pizza they have just given a set of toppings, so and a set of exclusions. So I will come to the point of like which I missed earlier, and I like mentioned you guys that I will come like come into on the later part of the lecture. So what exclusions and extras means is, in pizza ID some toppings are pre-decided, maybe olives in a veg pizza, and any other toppings. So a customer may demand that, okay, I don't need olives, remove that olives part. So if you see here, every topping has been given as ID as the same again. So what we do in SQL is, for everything we give a basic unique ID. So that we don't have to go and type each and everything again. Like if you want to exclude beef, or maybe if you want to exclude chicken, like, or any mushrooms or olives or anything, you won't have to go again there and type the things. You will just have to so that will basically give an understanding to database that, okay, we are excluding olives, and maybe if he demands to add a cheese slice, and we have given the number 1 to cheese slice as extras, so maybe that will be an extra topping or extra add-on that he has required. So that is what this basically customer orders table entirely means. I have now covered all the columns, that is the need of the hour. Similarly, we and everything manually. Maybe you must have learned in your colleges or any of the courses that we can pull data to maybe Excel file or any other means on which we are storing the data initially, or we can just simply write the query using various SQL. You can say what is it called? various functions, right? Like create, insert into values. So in this case, what they have done is basically, rather than a entire Excel sheet, or they have just taken some rough values which are explained here, and rather than building it in an Excel sheet or anything, we have just run this query in SQL to get the entire all these things in the tabular form. So I'm not going to write this entire query. I will just run you guys through what does this exactly means, and how, like, if we write this query or anything in this form, how SQL takes it. So basically, we'll start from just, this is a base, basically how a database is built. So when you need something like this table in your SQL, this table, so they have basically done this by writing queries. You can see the first line, drop table if exists the runners. First they have created a table runners. Then, as you must be aware, we have taken two columns in it. First is the, just a minute. This is the runners table. First is the runner ID, then the registration date. Similarly, in customer orders, you will see order ID, customer ID, pizza ID, and exclusions. Just a minute. You will see all these things like create table. First will be runners table. They have inserted the values 1, 2, 3, 4, and the dates according to it. Similarly, for every table, they have done the same things like create table customer orders. We have given the four variables, their data types like integer, var, char. I think you all must be familiar with the integer. These are all the data types. It is accordingly to the, you can say, the column or the kind of data you want to give the input. Like character is basically used when you have to give any alphabets. You can say varchar is basically given when there is a not a fixed length. And the difference between basically char and varchar is, you must this is one of the questions I can say is mostly asked in interviews, or maybe can be asked in interviews. You may be asked a difference between the char and varchar. So I will just like, as I just saw it, I will just try to mention what does mean. So in char, if you are giving a variable char, then it must have the fixed number of alphabets that you are giving. Like in this case, we have mentioned varchar 4 for exclusions. So when you are mentioning varchar 4, it can be anything about like not just 4, but anything more than 4 or anything like that. But when you write char, it should be, and you write in bracket 4. So it should always be an alphabet which of 4 letters only. So that is basically a difference between it. So this is basically the query that will, when you run it in the SQL, it will take the database in that form. If you can see the first table that, like as I explained, the runners. Second table will be create table customer orders. Then similarly, whatever the values in that that are there, insert into and values. I will just take a. Uh, I think you guys must be aware of a basics of SQL. In any starting class, we are taught the basic languages, like you can say DML, data manipulation language, data query language. Then, are you guys aware of anything like that, or you are starting from basics? If anybody could give a reply. Okay, Pranav says no. Beginners, basics. Okay, okay, okay. Some are saying aware, some are saying beginners. So this part actually comes in a very beginning part, I will say. Whenever like there are 3 to 4 types of, you can say, languages, or maybe what do I call it? The SQL query languages, commands like a data definition language (DDL), DML, data manipulative language, data manipulation language, then data query language, and all these contain some queries or the function that we use. So if I get into explaining everything, it will be a big session. Yes, TCL as well. So just consider into amount as this is a query that is mentioned in the project as well. When you run this project, you will when you want to work on this project, you will just have to run this query on your SQL, and all this database will be automatically generated in your background. So I'm just moving on to the part of SQL where we'll be writing the queries to fetch the data, and how maybe you will be asked in any industry to pull the data from a database. So these were some of the questions that were mentioned. So I have actually prepared a Word file, I will say, in which I have covered all this. I will share you guys with it. Just a minute. Okay. So what we are going to do is, these are some of the questions that may be asked to you Or just consider of a raw example of what you can derive from a pizza sales store. Like maybe you are working in any other industry. So this is one of the, I've covered some few basic questions. So the first question here is how many pizzas were ordered. So you have to calculate how many pizzas were ordered in total. So I will just write the SQL query for it. Select count, and this star means all. So I will just explain you why I'm writing this. So what was our requirement is what are the total number of pizzas that were ordered. So number of pizzas that are ordered will be basically the number of I will say the count of order IDs. That means basically this 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever the total number is, right? So you can either write count the number of order IDs, so it will just count this 1, 2, 3, or you can either write a star as well. Star basically refers to the every column of the table. So either or you can choose accordingly. I'm just preferring writing star. Select count all, and this data will be fetched from customer underscore orders. So I will also show you why I'm writing this exactly. See, select first I wrote, then I wrote the count all. That means it will calculate exact like count all the number of rows 1, 2, 3, 4. This will flow like way and count the total number of order IDs, and that basically will mean the number of pizzas that are ordered. And that should be like counted from, as there are multiple tables, you should also give the reference of the table name. So this is the name of the table, customer underscore orders. So that is exactly what I'm writing here. Select count, star means all, then from customer orders, and we will run this query. Count is 14. So these are the total. So you can also write, if you can see the heading as count only currently. So what was the expected out for you? Total number of pizzas ordered. So when you want to maybe show your presentation or maybe give this a heading at that, what does it exactly mean? Maybe someone is asking you what does this count mean, or you have to tell them. So you can just use another function that we use as. What this as means is alias. Like you can say whatever you get the output, the heading will be given as whatever you write after the as. Like this was the total pizzas ordered. So I will just write total pizzas ordered. Right, Yasin mentioned right. When we use alias, the head of the table changes respectively. So you can see the total pizzas ordered, the heading has come, and the count is 14. So this was a very basic example of how we are going to flow. What is the expected output? We will like try to answer those questions and run that queries. So this was the first question. That was a very basic question. Now we will try to head on the second question that was answered. So there must also be a question like how many unique customer orders were made. So what this basically means is how many unique orders were made. As you can see, there are different 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 6, 6. So in total, first in question, what we did was we just counted all the number of pizzas that were ordered. So this is 1, 2, 3. So in this case, what is it that like the question is trying to ask us is what are the unique customer IDs? You can say that is the one will be counted only one time. Even if the three is two times, it will be counted one time only. As you can see, unique. The word unique, that is what it means. Like it should be counted only once, not the duplicate should be counted. So I will just take you guys to the question once again. How many unique customer orders were made? So similarly, we will write a query for it. Select count. So for unique, there we'll use the same thing as we are like taking a count of any columns or rows. So we use the count function again. So in this, as we needed, as I mentioned, the count unique IDs. So in SQL, we use the function distinct for it. Distinct, unique means the same, but unique is a function that is used here. In Excel, we use the unique function for it. We write unique, and in the bracket we write the like we can say the rows we have selected. So I will select count distinct, and the distinct of what do we want? Order underscore ID. So this will be, again we can change the alias as total unique orders. Okay, now you will see 10. So what does this 10 means? Why has this come as 10? Basically, it has not counted every line item as single entity, but if 3 is 2 times, it has just counted it once. 4 is 3 times, it has counted it once. Basically, it has taken every number as one time only and not the duplicate values. That is what the like intent of the question was. This was the question: how many unique customers were made? Now let us move on to the third question: how many successful orders were delivered by each runner? That is, as I mentioned in the like when I explained you guys, there were some orders that may be cancelled by a restaurant, that may be cancelled by a customer, or anything can maybe led to cancellation of an order. So in this case, they are asking us, in first case, we calculated the number of total pizzas that were ordered. In second, we tried to calculate the unique order IDs or the unique orders that were placed in a day, you can say, or in a whatever the data we are maintaining. In this case, they are asking how many successful orders were delivered. So what do we mean by successful orders? We have to try to just ignore or not count the orders which were not successful or which were cancelled. So for that, we'll just let you first show the table. So this was our customers table. Now in this case, if you see, we will not go to customer orders table. We will be going through runner orders table, as we are not being asked what was the total number of maybe orders placed or anything. We are being asked what are the successful orders that were delivered by each runner. What does this mean is, if maybe there are 10 delivery boys in a pizza store, they are asking how many of each has done a successful delivery, excluding the cancel part. So what comes in your mind is, we should be writing the data in a form. Maybe first name is mine, Makrand. So Makrand has done how many successful deliveries. Then maybe second is Srishti. Srishti has done how many successful deliveries. So try to understand the intent. Whenever you read a question, you must be able to like grasp on which table we should be focusing. On the first two questions, we had to focus on the customer table. The reason being is, we were being asked the question that were more related to customer or the orders that can be fetched from the customer table. Runners table also consider like the data has been linked to that using the relations also. But when we are focusing on just the runner or the delivery, we will be referring to the second table. And I will just write the query and tell you how and why we are writing that. Select RID. Two queries. I have just taken I've just given two inputs in this case. The first is our runner ID, and the second is our count of order ID. So that we need how many, like for a delivery boy with runner ID 1, how many orders he has delivered. So we have taken the count of it. And similarly, as explained, it will be represented as successful orders delivered. So this will be fetched from this table. So I have first input I taken was select runner ID. It will just show you the number of all the runners, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. Then on the other side, I selected count of all the order IDs. So it will show you the count of the order IDs that was successfully delivered. So as I had mentioned earlier, you must be seeing there are cases of null here, and restaurant cancellation, customer cancellation. So we don't want to take these two in consideration. So when we write a query, select runner ID, count ID. Similarly, from runner orders table, I will just run this query first. Okay, sorry, there should be a underscore in it. Just a minute, I will explain you guys what it exactly means, group by, order by. Okay, so in any SQL, when you just need a count, like in the first two cases, we just wrote a query select from and we got the number of output. So in this case, what we needed was what every delivery boy, uh, how much every delivery boy has delivered, or how many successful orders has every delivery boy done. So in this case, we needed multiple output, I can say, of multiple. In the first case, you just saw there was just a single output like 14 in the first column only. So when you are doing something like this, so we usually use the function of group by, and I use the runner ID term here. So that what it will do is basically it will compartmentalize. If you guys have a basic idea of SQL, so when a query is run, when we take different IDs like 1, 2, 3, it will just group by and order by is used for that only. Like we use the group by function to show the like runner ID one pizza has delivered four successful pizzas. Similarly, runner ID two pizza has delivered four successful pizzas. Similarly, three has delivered two successful pizzas. So this is basically group by used for, and order by is basically used for to set the order. If I have written, like you will see, order by runner ID. So this is the runner ID 1, 2, 3, and I have write the code ASC. ASC stands for ascending. So it completely depends on the your requirement. How, in which way do you want? Now, if I write here DESC, you will see a change in the output. It will be in the form 3, 2, 1, and it will show. So it is completely on individual choice, or maybe the requirement of uh, maybe the requirement how it is. So if you guys notice, we just missed one thing in this, we will have to add on it. I will just take you guys through. So this is, we have taken the individuals, I will say the delivery boys that whose runner IDs are 1, 2, 3, and these are the number of pizzas that were delivered by them. But if you see, there were some pizzas that were cancelled also. So we should be excluding that as well. Now it has taken directly into count all the order IDs that were ordered. So in this case, what we will be doing is we will be using where clause. Let's show you. Where is basically a clause. It is a conditional clause. You can say you are fetching a data of something. Like in a data, there's a in a table there are data about n number of people. There's data about every. You can say in this session there are almost 50 to 60 people. So a table contains a data about all of us, 60 people. But you just need a data of mine. So a query is expected to be written in form maybe select all data from this any table, the name of the table, where the name is Makrand. So where clause is basically used as a conditional clause. Like you use maybe if you try to you use the if clause. Maybe if the name is Makrand, then you fetch the details. So it is just a conditional clause. So I am using where clause, where pickup time. So I will try to explain you guys why I have used this where pickup time. This denotes not equal to null. So in this table you will see in two cases there is null. So you should be excluding that thing. So what I wrote in that query, select all data of this table, just all those cases in which the pickup time is not null. Okay, Yasin has asked why pickup time not null also. I will just explain that as well. I have written this not null. First, I will run the query and I will explain the difference between null and that thing. That is the reason in first case we didn't exclude those cases null. So we are showing the output of all the orders that were placed. So we use the where clause to exclude all these items. So that is how we use the where as a conditional clause to exclude all those things, or maybe to just include all those things that we need. There may be a question in future. Maybe you will need how many orders were cancelled. So you will just put where pickup time equal to null. So you will just get the data of okay, these two are the orders that were cancelled by this. So that is how it is used. So coming to Yasin, I guess mentioned one doubt why I didn't mention So basically, for the people who are not aware, there's also query is not null. We also mentioned like this, like try to mention like this in SQL. And what I mentioned was, I'm just writing as a rough, not equal to null. So these are the two ways we can write in it. So the reason I used the second one was in this project or the data they have used, they have not, I will show you guys first. So as you can see, they have typed manually null null. They have not kept the space blank. In this case, you can see it is completely a blank. So that is the difference. Like if you type anything, if you type null, it will look to you as it as a like null. But for a background or for a system to read, it will count as a value. It will not count as something is blank. So if I would have entered this is not null, it would have not taken into account the these two tables as there is a value stored like null. It means null means void only, but when you enter, consider of an example like you write zero or maybe you write alphabetically zero. So when you write zero, it is obviously going to take something as an input. The system will not understand what null null means. So that's the reason I have not used is not null. I have just used no, okay, yeah, see, you got it. Okay, next question. We'll just try to move on. How many successful? Okay, so try to understand this question now. How many of each type of pizza was delivered? So you will see this is a bit, I will say, basic to a bit advanced, I will say, not a difficult question. So try to understand what I'm going to explain you in this. This like covers a new concept of joins. There are multiple joins in SQL. So for this session, I'm considering that you must be aware of all the joins: left join, right join, inner join, outer join, and will not be completely focusing on explaining what every one of it means. But I will try to roughly explain you what it means and how we have used it. So if we see, the question is how many of each type of pizza was delivered. So I will take you guys to a table. These are the two pizzas, meat lovers and vegetarian, and we need the number of pizzas this was delivered. So just look at the table. This is one pizza table, meat lovers and vegetarian. You need these two names, and in the second column, maybe you need their count of how many of them were delivered. And if you focus on the question, they are asking how many of the pizzas were delivered, not ordered, you can say. So if you are like, this is one of the confusing points I can say that could happen with anyone. It happened with me as well. So when you see delivered and order, the difference being will be these two cases. These two pizzas were ordered, right? They were not delivered. So when you write a query or when you take into understanding or when someone is asking you how many pizzas were ordered, you will automatically give the number as maybe all these numbers, that is 14, total is 14 that were ordered. But when someone asks you how many were delivered, you will not take into account these two, right? Because they were cancelled. That's the reason this question I'm trying to explain focus on the word delivered. So this question needs three, I will say, columns. First will be the type of pizza, that is the name of the pizza, meat lover. So in the system, if you see, you need this table for the getting the name of the pizzas. Then you will also have to get some data from this table to look for which orders were cancelled to get this two table. And for the number of orders that were made, total orders, you will also need the data from this table. As the sum of this, all these rows only can give you the total number of orders that were delivered. So we have to connect these three tables, and we will be using join function for it. So we'll just try to write the query and explain you guys step by step how it flows. Give me a minute. Select. See, first thing I'm taking is I need the name of the pizza in my output. Pizza name, comma, count of uh, so point will be showing the count of all the pizza that were ordered. Now, as I mentioned, we'll be joining these three tables: pizza name, runner ID, and the customer orders. So now it will like this. This example will give you a, for all those who are beginners, why we are doing all this. I will say why we are taking all these efforts of numbering everything and why we are doing all this. Because basically, when we have cases like this, we have to use joins. So how does joins work? Is if you see, just try to understand what is common between every table. So if I have to connect this table to this table, so the common point is the pizza ID. So how I will be establishing a join? I will be connecting this pizza ID with the pizza ID of this. That is what is shown in this pictorially. If you will see pizza names, this flows. Okay, see, you can see a pizza ID to pizza ID, this is connected. Now I will also explain you the relation. Why, if you will see, there is one mentioned here and there is star mentioned here. Similarly, in every relationship, there is one mentioned here, star mentioned here. So the people who are aware about data DB modeling, I will just mention it again for those who are beginners. So there are three types of modeling: one to one, one to many, many to many. So this is basically one to many. Why this is? In this case, in this table, there's only two IDs, you can say, of a pizza. That is, meat lovers has been given ID number 1 and vegetarian has been given ID number 2. But when you go in this table, you will see the numbers are repeating, right? 101 has been, the pizza ID 112, again 112. These are coming multiple times. That is, in that table, those outputs are only one time. In this table, they are multiple times. That is the relation. That is why this relationship is of a type one to many. So we will be connecting these two tables first. How do we do it? We'll write a query for it from customer orders. Okay. So when you connect two tables, so you have to give a reference you can also use the initials as well, like the name of the columns. But usual practice that has been followed is to give an initial of whatever the name of the table is, to identify that okay, maybe we have to select like I will say select pizza name. So the system must be understanding from which table it should be selected. It can be it could be from maybe customer orders, it could be from runner orders, or it could be from the other order as well. So in this case, there are multiple tables. In the previous examples, we just focus on one of the tables. So we'll have to mention it, how it works. But from customer orders, see, I have given this. So the reason being for that is for the first table, customer orders, I have assigned it a unique, maybe just a initial, or you can call it a nickname sort of thing, C. So, and we have to join this to pizza names table P. And I explained to you on which like common path or identifier will be joining will be the pizza ID. So we'll be joining at. So this is where the like use of C and P will come. See, if you see in this case, in both the table there is pizza ID and pizza ID. So how will the system understand that which pizza ID you are referring to? Like if you are referring to the pizza ID of this table or that table. So you will be referring like this on P dot pizza ID. Sorry, I missed a P. Equal to C dot pizza ID. See, so now what I've done is I've connected both the tables, and this on what grounds, as I mentioned, the common point was the pizza ID column. So the pizza ID from pizza names table and the pizza ID from the customer table. So these two tables are completely joined now, and we can fetch the details. Like how can we fetch the details? What will this mean? Like if you see the only it has been mentioned here is customer 01 ordered pizza ID number 1. So we don't know what is 1 here. Yes, alias is important. So we don't know what is 1 here. So we just have connected this table to that table. So whenever we will ask or give a input that we need a pizza name and that is referred to as 1 here, it can automatically fetch the details that okay, pizza number 1 is this. So that is the reason of establishing a relation. Similarly, we will do that for the runner tables as well. First, I will show you why. Just round. Someone mentioned alias is important. I will just write as well as total orders delivered. Total orders delivered. Okay, so now we have joined these two tables. So I will just take you back, guys, back to question once again to just show you what it was needed. As I mentioned, how many each type of pizza was delivered. So we have to also connect it to the third table, that was the runner table. For the reason was, as we did, if you guys can recall what we did in the previous question, we decided to exclude the orders in which the pickup time was null. The reason for being that was the orders were cancelled. We will do the same thing again. We will use the join to connect this table. Join. And I will give it the initial as R on. Now again we will have to look what is common between these two tables. Just to see in those two tables, order ID, runner ID, pickup time, distance, and order ID, customer ID, pizza ID, exclusion. So pizza ID is not common between these two tables. This table consists of pizza ID, but this table doesn't consist of the pizza ID. What is common is the order ID. So we will be establishing a relation by connecting order ID of this table to order ID of that table, and that way we can sync the data from both the tables. So I will do the same thing again. Similarly on C, that is customers tables order ID equal to R dot order ID. Okay, we are done with it. So why did we do it was, again I will take you to the question. What has been asked to us is why, how many were delivered, not the ordered. So I will again write the same thing that we did in the last question, where is not null. Okay. So why I have done this exactly that, like what we did in the previous question, that is like what were the orders cancelled, we have to exclude those things and we have to get the desired output. So I will take you through the query once again. We have taken first the name from the pizza table, count of the order IDs for the total orders that were delivered from first table, that was the customer orders. Then we join that table to the pizza name table. How we join it? By looking at the you can say primary key. In SQL we call it the primary key, that is connect the two tables, that is common in both the tables. So in these two tables it was pizza ID, so we used p dot pizza ID, that will be the pizza names table pizza ID and the customer names table pizza ID. Similarly we joined the runner orders table to customer orders to build a relationship between it. We joined it by using a command, that was order ID from customers to order ID from the runners table. And again we put the same condition where r dot pickup time is not null. Again we will use this, do the same thing, group by, as we need a grouping for different pizza name, that is there were two types of pizza. So I will just write the same thing here. See, so we have got the output. Meat lovers, vegetarian, and meat lovers pizzas were total 9 pizzas that were delivered. Vegetarian pizzas were 3 pizzas that were delivered. So it looks like very easy to get output, you can say. But in background, when it is stored, you will see what we have done is basically we have connected this table to this table to this table and got the expected output. The question was very easy, like we only needed how many pizzas of meat lovers or vegetarian were ordered. So motivate saying is try to understand all the connections that we make in the background. Try to understand the primary keys and the modeling we do. One of the major parts of SQL is trying to understand the this modeling. This looks like this is a very small, I will say. There are very less number of tables. When you work on a very big data, there will be having n number of tables and there will be maybe n number of relationships. So to understand this is very important, as that only will give you an expected output from any table by building maybe using joins or any other functions. So I think this has given you a basic idea or a good idea about what joins are used for and what data modeling is basically used for, or maybe why we use RDBMS, not just a DBMS. This is the primary reason for using RDBMS, like relational database management system. That is what this means. Like we build a relation from every table to table so that we don't have to waste time on maybe doing every entry now and then. We have to write every data every time. We don't have to do that. Or we build multiple tables. We give basic primary details to it. So whenever we have to fetch data, all the tables are connected and we can directly get the data to it. So let us move to the next question. Okay, let us now just try to understand this question first. How many vegetarian and meat lovers were ordered by each customer? So in this question, so why I've taken this was not a question in the project actually. If you, I will share you the link. The questions mentioned were different. I have myself built this question to make you understand what a question means and how do we take like understand it. In this question, you will see how many of each type of pizzas was delivered, and this in this I have mentioned how many of vegetarian and meat lovers were ordered by each customer. Now these two questions may sound similar. Like ये तो यही पूछ रहा है कि यार कितने पिज्जास किसने ऑर्डर किए थे, मतलब मीट लवर और वेजिटेरियन किसने कितना पूछा है, कितना ऑर्डर किया था या फिर डिलीवर किया था. But you will see in the wording is I have mentioned here by each customer. So in this I am not asking कि total vegetarian non-veg का सेल कितना हुआ. I am asking is कि maybe कितना वेज और नॉन वेज ऑर्डर किया एंड मे बी सृष्टि ने कितना वेज एंड नॉन वेज ऑर्डर किया. सो आई नीड द इंटायर डेटा अकॉर्डिंग टू द कस्टमर कि हर एवरी कस्टमर हैज ऑर्डर्ड मेनी हाउ मेनी वेज एंड हाउ मेनी नॉन वेज पिज्जा फ्रॉम द हिस्ट्री. इट इज नॉट जस्ट कि कितना वेज और कितना नॉन वेज टोटल ऑर्डर हो गए. So that is the difference between these two questions. Entire like query will be on the same lines. We'll be doing only some minor changes. If you focus on the word, in this was delivered. In this, I have used ordered. Difference is only that thing that we were doing. We will not be mentioning this not null because we are taking into consideration all the that were ordered. Yeah. See the total orders by the customer. Then try to explain you guys the difference between both these. Okay, so see, I didn't do much of changes. I did a minor changes, but it entirely changed how the output will look. I will just bit of customize it for you guys. Just a minute. Okay, so what as I mentioned, what in first question it was given is only total. मान लो वो पूरे एक दिन का बस sales है. So in first we got just the sales of एक दिन में कितना maybe meat lovers order हुआ है and एक दिन में कितना vegetarian order हुआ है. But when someone asks you कि how much a customer has ordered in meat lovers and how much a customers are ordered in vegetarian, so you must also be able to give the output. So this is what was the difference between the two questions, and I will see. I will explain you guys the use of order by that we have missed in this part. You will see the customer ID is here 103, then 105, 101, 103 again. So thoda it is a bit difficult to you can say understand the data, or maybe in a presentation it is not from a good way. So we use order by in such cases. Customer ID is. So what will this do is it will just order them ascendingly. So it will be like it will be very easy to understand you now. कि 101 customers ने मीट लवर्स कितने ऑर्डर किया? दो. 101 ने वेजिटेरियन कितना ऑर्डर किया? एक. सिमिलरली 102 पे हम जब जाएंगे उसने मीट लवर्स कितना किया? दो. वेजिटेरियन कितना किया? एक. सिमिलरली वही आगे जाके 103, 104, 105. So this is like I can say difference that small words or maybe छोटी छोटी चीजें इतना डिफरेंस क्रिएट करती है कि you have like you have to first try to understand what output is expected from you. This question looks very similar. I have like I was just going through something. It clicked my mind. This question sound very similar. कि how many of each type of pizza was delivered? Just a minute. या फिर ये क्वेश्चन ऐसे भी हो सकता है ना, मान लो और मैं सिमिलर कर दूं. हाउ मेनी ऑफ ईच टाइप rather than मैंने इसमें तो स्पेसिफिक कर दिया है each types of. So just by each customer, and इसमें by each customers नहीं है. This creates that difference between the two questions. That is what you guys have to take in. Okay, uh, try to understand the question, like what is expected. Sometimes the like question might sound similar to you, but this is the minor thing that creates a difference, I can say. So we'll try to move it fast now. Just okay. How many orders were? This is one of the next questions. How many orders were cancelled and by whom? So in this question, we need how many orders were cancelled and what was the reason behind the cancellation. So I will just write the query for it. It is exactly similar to what one of the things that we have done, the cancel cases, that how we used to do. So I will take it very fast now. Just a minute. Customer ID. Hold on. And now we need one more new thing in this. I've taken the customer ID and the cancellation column. So it will show why the order was cancelled. Either it was cancelled by restaurant or the customer. So cancellation. Similarly, we will do the same thing again from customer. No, I am this. I'm writing this very fast because you are aware. We have just covered this in the previous question. I will just show you the difference between what those two queries are. So we are doing the same thing again, that we are connecting the customers table to the runner orders table using the common column that was the order ID. So I'm just writing that same thing again. So I'm not explaining it again. Okay, just a minute. There's something wrong. CNC 11, CNC 11. Okay, fun. Student fun. Okay, just a minute. Fine, that's good, fine. Okay. Mm, okay, I think something is going wrong here. I'm not getting the expected output. I was going to show you the. I will just try to show it by this screenshot only. I have done it similarly when I made the project. So I tried writing the same query, but I don't know what is going wrong. Okay, someone has mentioned seeing the cancellation should be solved. Maybe I'm doing that mistake. I will just try to look at it. No, it doesn't matter. C is small or right. If you are taking a reference as big, I have given big reference everywhere. C, C, C again. Okay, just still it doesn't work. Something is wrong. Okay, I will just try to explain you guys with this screenshot only. There's something wrong that because I'm not getting the output. So this was basically, I will say, the last query of the session. So what we were doing in this is how many orders were cancelled and by whom. So you must be aware of the all the things that I have written, that like select. I have select what is done is order ID, then customer ID, and the cancellation. I have just added the cancellation column in this. Rest all were the same things that we were doing. Like there's nothing. I will see from I have selected these three columns from the customer orders, joined it to the runner order, and did the same thing again. That pickup time is not pickup time is equal to null. So it will basically give this data to us. It will go in this table. It will join both two tables by using the order ID, and I have used again the same condition where pickup time is equal to null, equal to null. So it will show us. It should be showing us these two output: restaurant cancellation and customer cancellation. I think I've got what I made a mistake just a minute. It should not be cancellation. Okay, leave it. I'm not getting the output. So it should look completely like this. What I've done is select order ID first, then the customer ID and the cancellation. That is from all are this from this table you can see. Runner ID from this table I will get. Order ID from I will get it from this table, and the reason for the cancellation. And the condition that I have given in the where clause was the pickup time. That was it should be equal to null. And another column that I need was the cancellation, reason for the cancellation. That is either the restaurant is cancelled or the customer is cancelled. So that is what we have got here. You can see select order ID, customer ID, cancellation. Then we have joined the two tables similarly from customer orders C, join our orders R. Similarly, like as we have done the previous cases by using the common column order ID, where R dot pickup time is null. So what will be the output like? It will show order ID first, customer ID, and the reason for the cancellation from the table. So these are the orders, that is order 6, order 9, which were given by customer 101 and 103 that were cancelled. Reason is also shown: restaurant cancellation, customer cancellation. Okay, so I think this will be it for this session. I have tried to cover some basic questions. Over to you, Srishti.
Uh, Hi everyone, hi Makrand.
Hi, yes. Just a
Uh,
minute.
Student, you can ask your questions in the chat box, or I turn on your mics also if you're facing any issue. All the attendees, your mics are on. You can ask your queries to Makrand. No more queries. I believe, Makrand, your expertise would be beneficial to our students. You clear all the doubts. Sir, can we make this model too?
Sure, you can do that. I will share the link with Srishti and she can maybe share you through. Or maybe a YouTube video will be uploaded in which I will add on the link. This is an online project. You will just have to paste the query in your whatever SQL like database you are using, maybe MySQL, PostgreSQL. It is up to you, and you can do the same questions.
Sir, how to handle real time data, changing data?
Okay. Yes. So when real-time data that you mentioned, so what do we mean by real-time data is consider an example. Maybe you are using Instagram. So when you search maybe my name, Makrand Rathod. So in background a query is run. Okay, search all from this table where name equal to Makrand Rathod. So in real data, a database maybe there will be a in any like maybe there are multiple tools. Every tool for everything that we do, a data is there on the backend, I will say, and that data is pulled by us. So that you mentioned that live data in every SQL we can connect to that data using its IP address, or maybe every database has its own address, it's accessing keys. You can directly connect to that data. Yes, first you will have to understand what that database consists. You will have to go through the, as I mentioned, before writing the query, you must be able to understand what the data modeling is. Because if you don't get the, like as I've shown you all the tables, like consider an example, you are not available, like aware of the tables it consists, then how will you be able to write the queries? So first thing will be to understanding the data first. When you mention about the any live data, you will have to first understand what are the connections made to each table, what are the common columns that, as I mentioned in two cases, pizza ID was common in two tables. Then in other two tables, the order ID was common. So you will have to first identify what are the common points, how are the joins made to these tables, and how does things flow. So before writing query, I will just suggest you guys to first try to understand the data modeling part and just have a glance at everything first. Writing query will be a secondary part. It will be just maybe just think of you are giving an exam, you are writing anything, you will obviously write it somehow. But if you don't understand the core, how it goes behind, that will be difficult for you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else?
We have a question in chat box.
Is it a project that can be kept at or LinkedIn? Yes, you can definitely do that. Even I have uploaded it on LinkedIn, and it is an online project. I will not say I have completely like designed it myself. It was a case study that was shared by some expert. So I downloaded it, tried that all that project, and tried to do it by myself. So I will request you guys to obviously you will find solutions somewhere or other, but just try to understand the project first. Try to do it. Okay, okay, you all are beginners. Okay, I think maybe this I'm just expecting everyone has just got a maybe a rough idea of maybe SQL or anything works, if not the complete picture, but just a rough idea. Okay, how things works in SQL.
I believe
Okay, I
Makrand,
use.
your expertise would be valuable to our students.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Srishti.
I hope all the students get the idea about the SQL, how to start their career in SQL.
Hmm.
So, what one advice do you like to give our students?
So, on the technical aspect, I will say first, not talking about SQL only. This session is focused on SQL. Try to understand on which SQL is a big field. I can say there are multiple rows you can perform. As I guess Nikhil asked me how to work on live data. So if some data is been worked like made online, so you can also work on maybe entering that data or creating an entire database, or you may be working on an organization where they are been have been maintaining a live database, and you just have to fetch the data. Or maybe you can work as a SQL developer that develops all the queries or those or the modeling part. So there are many I will say small roles. A SQL developer doesn't do all the things that you, if you are working on SQL, it doesn't mean you will be doing entirely everything. So in the beginning, I will just ask for everyone to try to understand what is maybe you are interested in and try to focus on that part. So this will give you a clear picture. Okay, maybe if you are doing in data modeling part, then you can progress in that way. Maybe if you are like interested in query writing to fetch a data from live fetch data from live data, then you can also proceed in that direction. So first, I will just say to try to explore as much as possible, and I think everyone can do it. It is not something a bit difficult. Sarabjit has asked a question. Sir, can you please explain this again? When creating an item list in any form, how to set unique ID or how to set specific ID to search the item used by the store worker? Unique ID basically, you can say it is just when you build a database. Like you asked a question related to how you can set a unique ID to any ID. So it is nothing I will say out of this box. Whenever you are entering, like maybe there are 10 person in a room, so you give a different ID to anyone. Maybe like think of you are entering a data in an Excel. You have to write down 10 names from a session. First is mine, Makarand, then Srishti, then maybe Nikhil, Satyam, or all the people in the this chat. So you just give different IDs to different people, and maybe if in one table we are maintaining just the names, in second table we are writing the address of those people. So just take off an think of an example. First table considers our name and just ID. In second table, we write the address or maybe contact and maybe XX information, whatever I'm mentioning. So you don't have to write the name Makrand Rathod or maybe Srishti. You will just type the unique ID, one number, maybe Makrand, and you will get all the data if you connect both the tables. So that is how you do it. People who are interested in numberings data
Yes,
can
all
select
the
their space.
students, you will get the certificate and details via WhatsApp group. Please kindly do join the WhatsApp group. So I'll share the recording of the video, recording of the session and details over the WhatsApp. Any other questions, students? Harsha is the people who are interested in membership data can select the specialization in business analytics and MBA.
The people who, is this a question or maybe he's saying something? I didn't get it actually. People who are interested in numberings data can select their specialization in business analytics and MBA. Okay. Okay, so if you are asking maybe business analytics and maybe data analytics, so these two fields look alike, same. There are minor differences. Maybe in an organization, you will maybe hired as a business analytics, but maybe you'll be working on data. So there are differences in both the fields. In MBA is a different part. Like if you want to pursue an MBA in maybe data analytics or any analytics. So what a business analytics done is it doesn't work completely on data. A data analyst works on data, like presents the data to him in a form, and a business analyst use that data to like derive meaningful insights or that can help the business, like we worked on the you can say pizza sales data. So what a data analyst will do is he will just maybe manipulate the data in some form what a business analyst will use is use that data to tell the organization or maybe stakeholders how we can use or manipulate this data and increase our maybe sales or maybe expand our organization. So that is the basic difference. And talking about numbers, I think if you are coming in data, then obviously numbers are going to come in both sides, in business as well as data analytics.
I hope, Harsha, you get your answer. Any further question? So thank you so much, Makrand, for your time and consideration. I
Sure, sure.
believe
Thank
that
you,
your
Srishti.
expertise and your insights would be valuable to our students. Thank you once again for your wonderful project and this wonderful content.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Srishti.
Thank you
Okay.
everyone for joining. Please do join the WhatsApp group for further updates. Thank you, Makrand.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you, everyone.